And anybody who tells you that he or she knows how the pyramids were built are not telling the truth.
They found something inside Cleopatra's tomb that wasn't supposed to be there, something that challenges everything we thought we knew about the pyramids. For thousands of years, we believed the pyramids were just tombs for ancient pharaohs. But this one discovery hidden alongside Cleopatra's remains is making archaeologists rethink the entire history of Egypt. After centuries of searching, the lost tomb of Queen Cleopatra has finally been uncovered. But instead of giving us closure, it opened up a new mystery. Join us as we explore how her tomb was discovered and the shocking truth it revealed about the pyramids. The final hours that started it all. According to Plutarch, an ancient Greek writer who became one of the first people to document the final moments of Cleopatra's reign, the queen's death occurred because of her undying love for her husband, the Roman general Mark Antony. When Augustus and his Roman forces invaded Egypt and captured the great city of Alexandria, Cleopatra's husband fell on his sword rather than face capture. As he drew his last breath, Cleopatra was right beside him, watching the love of her life slip away. After Antony's death, Cleopatra laid him to rest in her mausoleum. But here's where the story becomes interesting. She waited for exactly 2 weeks before entering the mausoleum again to make offerings. She poured libations, drinks offered to deities, with her own hands, and soon after, she mysteriously passed away. Nobody knows what happened to her. But the most popular belief is that she allowed an asp to bite her, choosing death over Roman captivity. What makes this even more haunting is that after Cleopatra died, she was buried right next to Mark Antony in the same mausoleum. It became a sequence of bitter days for their family, as Antony's son, Marcus Antonius Antilles, and Cleopatra's son, Ptolemy Caesar XV, were both killed by the Roman forces. It's speculated that their children's bodies were also placed in the mausoleum with their parents, creating a royal tomb that had vanished without a trace. But that's nothing compared to what archaeologists discovered next. The golden mummies that shocked the world. While researchers continue their quest for Cleopatra's mausoleum, knowing that Cleopatra and Antony were buried together in one location provides a crucial starting point. The question that has haunted archaeologists for decades is simple: where is this legendary mausoleum? Many believe it had been lost along with the ancient city of Alexandria, swallowed by time and the Mediterranean Sea. But researchers refuse to give up, and their persistence has led to discoveries that compensate for years of hard work. While searching for Cleopatra's tomb, archaeologists stumbled upon 2 mummies at Taposiris Magna that would change everything. These mummies date back to the time of Cleopatra, and because of how historians believe Cleopatra and Antony were buried, many people think this discovery is absolutely sensational, believing that the mummies might actually belong to the legendary lovers themselves. The tomb has been sealed for 2,000 years, and when researchers finally opened it, they found the mummies covered in gold leaf. This signifies that the mummies belong to incredibly rich and powerful people, as only individuals of the highest status were buried in such an elaborate way. The mummies were difficult to identify because they had been severely damaged by water and other natural forces over the centuries, so they were X-rayed to reveal their secrets. The geometric miracle that defied explanation. The X-ray results showed that the mummies belonged to a man and a woman, which immediately sparked intense speculation. Some people theorized that they were priests who played important roles in keeping the pharaohs in power, while others wondered if they could be the royal couple themselves. One of the mummies even had a gold leaf painting of a scarab, which was a powerful symbol of rebirth in ancient Egyptian culture. For so many years of research, no one had been able to find the tomb of any Ptolemaic pharaoh, including Cleopatra. But as these 2 mummies were discovered, researchers saw it as an incredibly significant breakthrough. Many archaeologists believe that Cleopatra's tomb is hidden somewhere at Taposiris Magna. But Dr. Kathleen Martinez holds that belief more strongly than anyone else. She has been leading excavations at Taposiris Magna for over 14 years, and she has never stopped because she strongly believes she will one day find what she has been searching for her entire life. The search for Cleopatra's tomb began about 20 years ago, and it's been a grueling journey since then. But now it seems that all the dedication has finally paid off. They discovered a tunnel stretching 1,305 meters, located 13 meters below ground level. This tunnel was named a geometric miracle by scientists because of its absolutely amazing architecture and perfect construction. After this site was excavated, it revealed something that no one expected to find: the sacred complex and divine connection. The excavation revealed the location of a huge religious center that consists of 3 sanctuaries and a sacred lake. Inside the tunnel, over 1,500 objects were discovered, including busts, golden pieces, statues, and a massive collection of coins depicting Alexander the Great, Queen Cleopatra, and the Ptolemies. But of all these incredible discoveries, the most important finding was the intricate network of tunnels that led directly to the Mediterranean Sea and underwater structures. Since 2005, researchers have dedicated their lives to locating this tomb, and the reason is simple yet profound. Cleopatra was not just a regular queen, she was an icon who was both admired and feared, and she became a victim of Roman propaganda that was believed to be aimed at destroying her beautiful image and legacy. She was possibly one of the first women to study formally at the Alexandria Museum, which was extremely uncommon at the time, but she made sure she was present at the cultural center of her era, breaking barriers that had never been broken before. The most important hint came from the name itself. Cleopatra was considered to be the human incarnation of the goddess Isis, while Mark Antony was considered to be the embodiment of the god Osiris. Osiris was married to Isis in Egyptian mythology, while Antony was also married to Cleopatra in real life. Could it be possible that Cleopatra was buried with her husband in the temple of Taposiris Magna? The evidence that researchers found next would suggest something even more extraordinary: the temple that held all the answers. Of all the 20 temples that were studied in Alexandria, the Temple of Taposiris Magna is the only one that satisfies all the necessary conditions for housing Cleopatra's tomb. The Temple of Taposiris Magna, dedicated to Isis and Osiris, would have been a place of significant religious symbolism connected to Cleopatra's life and death. The temple's location is ideal because it's within the Roman limits of Alexandria, but outside the area that was controlled by the Romans at the time. The common knowledge among historians is that Cleopatra was terrified that the Romans would destroy her remains, so it's completely reasonable to think that she would have entrusted her body to a group of people and a place where she knew she would be protected after her death. If this speculation is correct, then the priests of the temple most likely hid her body away from the Romans and kept it safe for eternity. The Temple of Taposiris Magna was also a crucial religious center with important political significance, and it was closely associated with the Egyptian mysteries. According to the ancient writer Plutarch, when Alexander the Great was traveling to Siwa Oasis, he had to stop by this very temple. As of now, only a small part of Taposiris Magna has been explored, and there they found a burial chamber containing the 2 mysterious mummies. On the chamber was a limestone slab, which was carefully removed with a chisel and hammer, revealing a small hole through which the researchers were able to see the mummies for the first time in 2,000 years. But the discoveries at this sacred site became even more incredible when researchers found something that directly connected Cleopatra to this place: the royal artifacts and divine evidence. The excavation team discovered a headless statue that belonged to King Ptolemy IV, one of Cleopatra's direct ancestors. A foundation plate was also retrieved at the site, which clearly shows that the temple was once dedicated to the goddess Isis. During the time Cleopatra reigned as Queen of Egypt, she proclaimed herself as the human incarnation of Isis and was also considered to be exactly that by her devoted people. The next discovery proves the direct relationship between Cleopatra and this sacred place. Researchers discovered over 200 coins bearing Cleopatra's name and face at the temple altar, where priests made offerings to the gods. These coins are direct links between Cleopatra and Isis, creating an undeniable connection. But that's not all. The coins also depict the image of Cleopatra, which is not exactly what we have imagined and seen in Hollywood movies. Though we can't say for sure that it was what Cleopatra actually looked like, researchers believe that the coins show how she would have wanted to be seen by her people and by history. The coins were made under her direct instructions, making them authentic representations of her desired image. These coins have tremendous usefulness because they are also helpful for dating archaeological sites, and they show that these might be the actual currency that was spent during the reign of Cleopatra. The finds clearly show that there was a powerful relationship between the temple and Cleopatra, but the most disturbing discoveries were still hidden in the depths below. The architectural marvel and hidden chambers. A team of researchers started their comprehensive search on Cleopatra's tomb within the Taposiris Magna temple complex. They began by excavating both inside and outside the temple and came upon various architectural components distributed across different levels, each revealing secrets about the temple's ancient purpose. The team were able to see the limestone room's foundations, which were built parallel to the north wall. Each room has flooring made with limestone and also contains pottery vessels that were used to hold sacred oil for religious blessings. Below one of the walls, researchers found a statue of royalty without a head, adding to the mystery of who was buried in this sacred place. At the second level, the team found architectural elements that dated back to the late Roman era. This level was built right on a staircase and featured a rectangular building with 3 differently sized rooms at the end of the building's eastern wall. A new entrance was also discovered, leading to a hall with 2 small rooms on either side. No one knows what these rooms were used for, but they were separated by a tunnel that ended in a door opening to another large room. This large room may have been a residence for the commander of the Roman camp where it was initially built. At the third level, researchers made discoveries that would lead them deeper into the temple's darkest secrets: the descending levels of mystery. At the third level, there was limestone flooring, where the team found 5 steps made of the same rock, which led to what appeared to be a courthouse or judgment hall. The fourth level contained the foundations of residences that were most likely used by the Ptolemaic temple priests who served the pharaohs. At some point, this area also contained a group of ovens, and in front of one of them, researchers discovered a stela containing 10 lines of Greek inscription that have yet to be fully deciphered. The temple had a foundation similar to that of a rectangular building that could have served as a chapel for the temple gods. An altar located on the western end of the building led directly to the sanctuary, where they discovered the Chapel of Isis, which also revealed the arm of a statue representing Apis, the sacred bull. This discovery further pointed to the fact that the temple was dedicated to the divine triad of Osiris, Isis, and Horus, the exact gods that Cleopatra revered so deeply. This temple was absolutely steeped in details that proved it was wholly dedicated to the gods that Cleopatra considered to be her divine family. But the most chilling discoveries were waiting in the deepest shafts, where ancient secrets had been buried for millennia. The skeletons that revealed ancient secrets. One of the shafts in the temple had niches that were cut directly into the rock, which were used as stairs leading down into the earth. As the excavation team dug deeper and deeper, they reached a depth of 25 meters below the temple floor. At this incredible depth, a complete skeleton was found alongside a collar made of pure gold. It is believed that this skeleton belonged to a man who was left inside the shaft and was never found or retrieved by ancient peoples. The researchers continued to dig even deeper, reaching 28 meters below ground level, where another skeleton was discovered in similar circumstances. If you think that's all they found, you're completely wrong. Further excavation, reaching 35 meters below the temple, revealed a third skeleton that belonged to a woman who died while giving birth to a child. This skeleton was found in a heartbreaking position, holding onto a statue of Alexander the Great with one hand and wearing a ring on the other hand. She also had a leg chain with an amulet shaped like a snake, suggesting she may have been a priestess or someone of significant importance. The final shaft revealed something that could be the possible entrance to the tomb that archaeologists have been searching for. The flooded entrance and ancient vessels. The researchers discovered what appeared to be the entrance to a tomb in the deepest shaft, but they encountered a major obstacle that had frustrated archaeologists for years. The researchers tried to enter this potential tomb entrance, but they could not proceed because of the extremely high water table that had flooded the area over the centuries. However, within the debris of the shaft, they found a great number of rhodium amphorae with seals that contained the name of the factory as well as the names of the priests who had once served in the temple. These vessels were specifically used to transport the famous rhodium wine that was considered sacred in ancient Egyptian religious ceremonies. The presence of these vessels suggests that this area was used for important religious rituals and ceremonies that may have been connected to royal burials. Near this final shaft, several rooms were discovered that would reveal the most incredible artifact yet found: the alabaster queen that confirmed everything. Near the last shaft, several additional rooms were discovered by the excavation team. These rooms appear to have been sealed for centuries, protecting their contents from the outside world. In one of those rooms, approximately 1 meter below the Byzantine floor level, scientists discovered an alabaster head of a queen that would change everything. After the head was carefully examined by experts, the researchers discovered that the artistic style of the head strongly indicated that the bust belonged to Cleopatra herself. This determination was made because of the images of Cleopatra that were found in the coins discovered throughout the temple complex. When the coin images were compared directly to the alabaster busts, there were striking similarities that could not be ignored. The facial features, the way the hair was styled, and the overall royal bearing of the sculpture matched the representations found on the coins that were minted during Cleopatra's reign. Although researchers are still far from discovering the actual tomb, these excavations have revealed many other significant findings that are revealing the truth about the temple's history and the lives and deaths of those who are buried within its sacred walls. The underwater theory. As much as archaeologists want to believe that Cleopatra's tomb is hidden within the Taposiris Magna, a growing group of experts have reached a completely different conclusion that challenges everything we've discussed. Many scholars now believe that Cleopatra was actually buried somewhere in ancient Alexandria. And as we know, that entire area had been buried deep underwater for centuries. The ancient city of Alexandria, including its royal quarter where Cleopatra's palace once stood, now lies beneath the Mediterranean Sea. While we might choose to believe in the temple's theory, there's actually no concrete evidence to definitely prove that the tomb is located in either of these two locations. What about all the busts and the other evidence found in the temple? Critics argue that we can't really use them as definite proof because they are relatively common artifacts, and similar objects have been found in other archaeological sites throughout Egypt. If the tomb is indeed in Alexandria and underwater, it faces numerous threats. If the water never completely destroyed it, then it might have been burned during one of the many fires that ravaged ancient Alexandria. But if it wasn't burned, it was probably robbed long ago during a time when tomb theft was absolutely rampant throughout Egypt. Even if the tomb somehow survived all of these disasters, what about the effects of cultural change and natural deterioration over 2 millennia? It would be almost supernatural to find Cleopatra's tomb completely intact after all these centuries. Currently, archaeologists are focusing their search on the temple rather than looking underwater, but this may be a mistake that cost them the discovery of the century. Some legends were never to be found. Some queens were destined to reign forever in mystery. Do you believe Cleopatra's tomb is hidden beneath the sands of Taposiris Magna, or lost forever beneath the sea? And if her tomb is finally found, what do you think it might reveal? Not just about Cleopatra, but about Egypt itself.